Hello everyone and welcome back to the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. I am here outside of Knife Point Ridge, and right now I have an inventory that's full of stuff, so I want to get back to Breezehome ASAP, drop off all of my collection, and maybe do some reading, because it's going to be kind of a shorter installment this time around. Oh my god, Miko, be careful. Jesus. Boulders are no joke. And yeah, it's going to be maybe a shorter installment this time around. So, oh my god. I'm looking to not get into too much fighting, because yeah, I got a bunch of other stuff I want to try and take care of today. So we're going to go over here and hopefully avoid triggering any fights with these Spriggans. More Tapanella. Oh, what do we got? Some kind of wildcat cougar. Damn, kitty, you strong. Oh shit. Yes. Nice. I guess I can't take your leather. I have no space in my inventory. Okay, so we're going to go north, basically around this mountain, and then to the east. And that'll hopefully take us to where we want to go. And look at this, we even got a road. Nice. Oh shit. Corpses. Well, I don't want to get involved in that, so I'm just going to head on down this way. Don't worry about it, alright? I love when the corpses spawn and they just fall to the ground out of the air. Alright, very good. We're not too far from Whiterun. Just a hop, skip, and a jump to the east. In fact, you can see Dragon's Reach right over there. Right where my crosshairs are aimed at. It looks very nice silhouetted against the sunset like that. You know, I've been considering maybe getting into a little bit of live streaming, but once again, I don't think that my computer can really handle it at the moment. The good news is that I have a coworker of mine who's willing to sell me a bit of RAM that he has. So, oh, who are you? Stormcloaks. Alright.
If it isn't Ice Veins.
Oh,
Hi there.
you remember me. Hello. So yeah, hopefully I can get that and my computer can handle it. I can install it just fine. And yeah, then I might consider doing a little bit of live streaming of myself playing these games so that when I do eventually upload the content to my YouTube channel, it's kind of like I'm doing two things at once, you know? Of course, I don't know. I've never been one for, like, live stuff. It's not really in my DNA, so to speak. So maybe I won't do that. I haven't decided yet. It's just a thought that I've had in my head. Whoa. What? Oh god. Imperial. That's right. Bash his brains in. Nice. Ooh, Hag Ravenclaw. Forest Septums. Vicar Herb. Weak magic poison. Nice. Because, yeah, like, honestly, I don't really care who watches this. You know, I'm doing this for me. I've said that many, many times throughout the multiple games I've played on this channel over the past year or two since I've been doing it. This is purely for my own wants and desires. But there is also the thought of, like, oh, I don't know, maybe if enough people watch it, it might actually be monetizable, which would be a nice, like, you know, secondary thing to take money in. It's not something that, like, I care deeply about. It's just something that would be nice. Hey, it's Maik. Hello, long time no see.
Skyrim was once the land of many butterflies. Now,
Oh.
not so much.
Well, you know, I'm sure I had nothing to do with that.
Much snow in Skyrim. Enough snow. Mike does not want any more. Snow falls. Why worry where it goes? Mike thinks the snowflakes are pretty. Mike is tired now. Go bother somebody else.
Alright. Bye, Maik. Talk to you later. But yeah, I'm not really concerned about, like, the monetary aspect of shit. It's just that, like, you know, I work a regular-ass job in a regular-ass warehouse doing menial tasks, and it's at a point where I've been doing it for so long that I'm just, like, so bored. I hate going there. So, I don't know. Anything that could, like, beef up my income, I guess, to a point where maybe I wouldn't have to do that job would be nice. But I also realize it's kind of like a pipe dream, you know? I got a lot of fingers in a lot of pies, so to speak, and I think because I spread myself thinly across a wide variety of different things, I'm not laser focused on anything in particular, which leads to me not being able to, like, I don't know, do anything in particular to a level where it would actually be worth paying for. And I'm aware of that. But still, the thought remains. So I think, like, the idea of, like, focusing single-mindedly on any one thing really is not in the cards for me. I'm just not that kind of person. I like to do everything. Everything I'm interested in, I like to do all the time. As opposed to, like, you know, picking one thing and sticking to it forever. So, like, even all the hobbies that I have, you know, whether it's drawing or watching movies, playing video games, drumming, playing guitar, etc., I try to do a little bit of everything every day. Maybe that's the wrong approach. I don't know. It's something I think about often. But, you know, I'm still here. That's the main thing.
They say Elphick Stormcloak murdered the High King with his voice.
Shouted him apart. Yes, we know. We've heard you say it a million times, Mr. Skyrim guard. Alright, gang. Give me all the stuff that I gave you. Except, obviously, the things you have equipped. Oh my, Jenassa, I gave you so many alchemical ingredients. Oh my lord. Oh, wait. I wasn't done. Okay, and Lydia? Sorry, I gotta take the ritual armor back. It's nothing personal, girl. Alright. What do we got here? I'm not putting any lockpicks away, but I will put like 900 coins away. 954 to be exact. Okay, and do you have any scrolls? Nope. Miko, you are forever in my way, more so than the other two. Okay, food. Soul gems. Drinks. Clutter. I don't know why torches are classified as clutter. Never made sense to me. Okay, I'm going to save before I do this, because once again, this is usually when the game crashes, because I just have so many of all this stuff. Ooh, golden poppy. Fortify persuasion. Redwort flower. What does that do? Resist frost. Alright. Potions and poisons. Alright, let's go upstairs. Alright, crafting. Ooh, 27 iron ore. Maybe that's why I can't walk. I'm still not entirely able. Okay, let's see. Amethyst, link tiara. Yeah, okay. Got a little bit of jewelry here. Not much. A little bit of armor. Oh yeah, I said I was gonna enchant Stenvar's stuff. I guess I'll do that at some point. Beautiful. Alright, what do I have for notes? Notes and journals. Fortify heavy armor talisman. To shield one from fatal blows in battle or to harden armor against blows, find a band of green orichalcum and set a green or emerald within it. Inscribe the Agish Yalmer upon its surface and chant the following. Shor said, I know an 11th charm when I lead to battle old comrades in arms. I have only to chant it behind my shield, and unwounded they go to war, unwounded they come from war, unscathed wherever they are. Letter of inheritance. Wait, which one was this? Gallows Rock. That one we did. Still gotta do number 3. But that's up by Solitude, so that won't be for a while. Okay, I got a bunch of shields. Okay, we got some unique stuff here. Got the ebony mail, the ritual armor of Boethiah, and some fossils. Okay, cool. Now then. I got a couple spell tomes here. I'm gonna save before I do this because sometimes this shit fucks up. No, not that one. This one. No. There we go. Let's see, spell tomes. Long Stride and Circle of Strength. Nice. Alright. Time to do a little bit of reading. Probably not going to get through too many of these books today, but we'll do some. Let's see. Did I already do both of these? I don't think I did this one. I did the other one. Look upon the face of Boethiah and wonder. Raise your arms that Boethiah may look on them and bestow a blessing. Know that battle is a blessing. Know that death is an eventuality. Know that you are dust in the eyes of Boethiah. Long is the arm of Boethiah, and swift is the blade. Deep is the cut, and subtle is the poison. Worship, O faithful, pray your death is short. Worship, O faithful, pray your death is quiet. Worship, O faithful, worship the glory that is Boethiah. Oh, that was it. Okay. What about Immortal Blood? Immortal Blood by Anonymous. The moons and stars were hidden from sight, making that particular quiet night especially dark. The town guard had to carry torches to make their rounds, but the man who came to call at my chapel carried no light with him. I came to learn that Movarth Pekin could see in the dark almost as well as the light, an excellent talent, considering his interests were exclusively nocturnal. One of my acolytes brought him to me, and from the look of him I at first thought he was in need of healing. He was pale to the point of opalescence, with a face that looked like it had once been very handsome before some unspeakable suffering. The dark circles under his eyes bespoke exhaustion, but the eyes themselves were alert, intense, almost insane. He quickly dismissed my notion that he himself was ill, though he did not want to discuss a specific disease. Vampirism, he said, and then paused at my quizzical look. I was told that you were someone I should seek out for help in understanding it. Who told you that? I asked, with a smile. Decina Gray. I immediately remembered her, a brave, beautiful knight who had needed my assistance separating fact from fiction on the subject of the vampire. It had been 2 years, and I had never heard whether my advice had proved effective. You've spoken to her? How is her ladyship? I asked. Dead, Movarth replied coldly, and then, responding to my shock, he added to perhaps soften the blow. She said your advice was invaluable, at least for the one vampire. When last I talked to her, she was tracking another. It killed her. Then the advice I gave her was not enough, I sighed. Why do you think it would be enough for you? I was a teacher once myself, years ago, he said. Not in a university, a trainer in the Fighters Guild, but I know that if a student doesn't ask the right questions, the teacher cannot be responsible for his failure. I intend to ask you the right questions, and that he did. For hours he asked questions, and I answered what I could, but he never volunteered any information about himself. He never smiled. He only studied me with those intense eyes of his, committing every word I said to memory. Finally, I turned the questioning around. You said you were a trainer at the Fighters Guild. Are you on assignment for them? No, he said curtly, and finally I could detect some weariness in those feverish eyes of his. I would like to continue this tomorrow night if I could. I need to get some sleep and absorb this. You sleep during the day, I smiled. To my surprise, he returned the smile, though it was more of a grimace. When tracking your prey, you adapt their habits. The next day, he did return with more questions, these ones very specific. He wanted to know about the vampires of eastern Skyrim. I told him about the most powerful tribe, the Volkihar, paranoid and cruel, whose very breath could freeze their victims' blood in the veins. I explained to him how they lived beneath the ice of remote and haunted lakes, never venturing into the world of men except to feed. Movarth Pekin listened carefully and asked more questions into the night, until at last he was ready to leave. I will not see you for a few days, he said, but I will return, and tell you how helpful your information has been. True to his word, the man returned to my chapel shortly after midnight 4 days later. There was a fresh scar on his cheek, but he was smiling that grim but satisfied smile of his. Your advice helped me very much, he said, but you should know that the Volkihar have an additional ability you didn't mention. They can reach through the ice of their lakes without breaking it. It was quite a nasty surprise being grabbed from below without any warning. How remarkable, I said with a laugh, and terrifying. You're lucky you survived. I don't believe in luck. I believe in knowledge and training. Your information helped me, and my skill at melee combat sealed the Bloodsucker's fate. I've never believed in weaponry of any kind. Too many unknowns. Even the best swordsmith has created a flawed blade, but you know what your body is capable of. I know I can land 1,000 blows without losing my balance, provided I get the first strike. The first strike, I murmured, so you must never be surprised. That is why I came to you, said Movarth. You know more than anyone alive about these monsters, in all their cursed varieties across the land. Now you must tell me about the vampires of northern Valenwood. I did as he asked, and once again his questions taxed my knowledge. There were many tribes to cover. The Bonsamu, who were indistinguishable from Bosmer except when seen by candlelight. The Kirillith, who could disintegrate into mist. The Yekef, who swallowed men whole. The dread Telboth, who preyed on children, eventually taking their place in the family, waiting patiently for years before murdering them all in their unnatural hunger. Once again he bade me farewell, promising to return in a few weeks, and once again he returned as he said, just after midnight. This time Movarth had no fresh scars, but he again had new information. You are wrong about the Kirillith being unable to vaporize when pushed underwater, he said, patting my shoulder fondly. Fortunately, they cannot travel far in their mist form, and I was able to track it down. It must have surprised it fearfully. Your field of knowledge is becoming impressive, I said. I should have had an acolyte like you decades ago. Now tell me, he said, of the vampires of Cyrodiil. I told him what I could. There was but one tribe in Cyrodiil, a powerful clan who had ousted all other competitors, much like the Imperials themselves had done. Their true name was unknown, lost in history, but they were experts in concealment. If they kept themselves well fed, they were indistinguishable from living persons. They were cultured, more civilized than the vampires of the provinces, preferring to feed on victims while they were asleep, unaware. They will be difficult to surprise, Movarth frowned. But I will seek one out and tell you what I learn, and then you will tell me of the vampires of High Rock and Hammerfell and elsewhere in Blackmarsh and Morrowind and the Somerset Isles, yes? I nodded, knowing then that this man was on an eternal quest. He wouldn't be satisfied with but the barest hint of how things were. He needed to know it all. He did not return for a month, and on the night that he did I could see his frustration and despair, that there were no lights burning in my chapel. I failed, he said, as I lit a candle. You are right, I could not find a single one. I brought the light up to my face and smiled. He was surprised, even stunned, by the pallor of my flesh, the dark hunger in my ageless eyes, and the teeth. Oh yes, I think the teeth definitely surprised the man who could not afford to be surprised. I haven't fed in 72 hours, I explained, as I fell on him. He did not land the first blow, or the last. Ah. So the author of this book turned out to be a vampire himself. Okay, let's do these Boethiah books and Immortal Blood. Very nice. What's next? Opusculus Lamae Ball. No. Not that one. I'm not sure which of these books are associated with a quest or not. I know what Children's Annual is. Let's do Ahzirr Traajijazeri, the forever unpronounceable novel by Anonymous. This is an absurd book, but like all things Khajiit, as the expression goes, Gazalzi Vaberzarita Mazi, or absurdity has become necessity. Much of what I have to say has probably never been written before, and if it has, no one has read it. The Imperials feel that everything must be written down for posterity, but every Khajiit kitten born and elsewhere knows his history. He drinks it in with his mother's milk. Fairly recently, however, our struggles to win back our homeland from the rapacious Count of Leyawiin have attracted sympathetic persons, even Imperials, who wish to join our cause, but it seems do not understand our ways. Our enemies, of course, do not understand us either, but that is as we wish it. A weapon in our arsenal. Our non-Khajiit friends, however, should know who we are, why we are, and what we are doing. The Khajiit mind is not engineered for self-reflection. We simply do what we do, and let the world be damned. To put into words and rationalize our philosophy is foreign, and I cannot guarantee that even after reading this you will understand us. Grasp this simple truth. Khazi no vano thazina ualiz. When I contradict myself, I am telling the truth. We are the Ren-Rijira Kryn. The Ren-Rijira Kryn. The mercenaries grin, the laugh of the landless, and the smiling scum would all be fair translations. It is a derogatory expression, but it is amusing, so we have adopted it. We have anger in our hearts, but not on our faces. We fight for elsewhere, but we do not ally ourselves with the Main, who symbolizes our land. We believe in justice, but do not follow laws. Kazina vano thazina ulais. These are not rules, for there is no word for rules in Ta'agra. Call them our Thizrini, foolish concepts. 1. Vaba doshur du. It is good to be brave. We are struggling against impossible odds, against the very empire of Tamriel. Our cause is the noblest cause of all, defense of home. If we fail, we betray our past and our future. Our dead are re-saladad, which may be interpreted as martyrs in the truest best sense of that word, which is so often misused. We honor their sacrifice, and beneath our smiles mourn them deeply. Our bravery most obviously shows in the smile that is the Kryn, part of our name. This does not mean that we walk about grinning like the idiotic baboonish Imga of Valenwood. We simply are entertained by adversary. We fight an equal, fair fight, tiresome in the extreme. We confidently smile because we know our victory in the end is assured, and we know our smiles drive our enemies insane. Vavamazi lagito, it is necessary to run away. We are struggling against impossible odds, against the very empire of Tamriel. Honor is madness. Yes, we love the Ren-Rijra Kryn who died in brave battle against the forces of the empire, but I guarantee you that each of those Re-Saladad had an escape route he or she failed to use, and died saying damn. When the great Sencheirat comes to the Semisil steppes, he will find himself unable to hunt, unable to sleep, as the tiny Alfiq leap onto his back, biting him, and running off before he has a chance to turn his great body to face them. Eventually, though, he may stubbornly hope to catch the Alfiq. The Sencheirat always leaves. They are our cousins, the Alfiq, and we have adopted their strategy against the great tiger of Leyawiin. Do not ally yourself with the Ren-Rij if you yearn to be part of a mighty army, marching resolutely forth for whom retreat is anathema. We will laugh at your suicidal idiocy as we slip into the reeds of the river and watch the inevitable slaughter. Fusoze Varvar, enjoy life. Life is short. If you have not made love recently, please put down this book and take care of that with all haste. Find a wanton lass, or frisky lad, or several, in whatever combination your wise loins direct, and do not under any circumstances play hard to get. Our struggle against the colossal forces of oppression can wait. Good. Welcome back. We Ren-Rijra Kryn live and fight together, and know that Leyawiin and the Empire will not give way very soon. Likely not in our lifetimes. In the time we have, we do not want our closest comrades to be dour, dull, colorless, sober, and virginal. If we did, we would have joined the Emperor's blades. Do not begrudge us our lewd jokes, our bodied drunken nights, our moon sugar. They are the pleasures that Leyawiin denies us, and so we take our good humor very seriously. Fusaze Vardar, kill without qualm. Life is short, very short, as many have learned when they have crossed the Ren-Rijra Kryn. We fight dirty. If an enemy is facing us, we might consider our options and even slip away if his sword looks too big. If his back is to us, however, I personally favor knocking him down and then jumping on his neck where the bones snap with a gratifying crunch. Of course, it is up to you and your personal style. Ahzirr Traajijazeri. We give freely to the people. Let us not forget our purpose. We are fighting for our families, the Khajiit driven from the rich, fertile shores of Lake Makapi and the river Malapi, where they and their ancestors lived since time immemorial. It is our battle, but their tragedy. We must show them, lest they are swayed by other rhetoric, that we are fighting for them. The Main, the Emperor, and the Count can give speeches, pass laws, and living life in the open, explain their positions and philosophies to their people, to stave off the inevitable revolution. Extra-legal entities such as the Memrija Kryn must make our actions count for our words. This means more than fighting the good fight and having a laugh at our befuddled adversaries. It means engaging and seducing the people. Ours is not a military war. It is a political war. If the people rise up against our oppressors, they will retreat and we will win. Give to these people whenever possible, gold, moon sugar, and our strong arms, and though they hide, their hearts will be with us. Ahzirr Traajijazeri. We justly take by force. Let us not forget our purpose. We are thieves and thugs, smugglers and saboteurs. If we cannot take a farm, we burn it to the ground. If the Imperials garrisoned in a glorious ancient stronghold beloved by our ancestors will not yield, we tear the structure apart. If the only way to rescue the land from the Leyland misappropriation is to make it uninhabitable by all, so be it. We want our life and our home back as it was 20 years ago, but if that is not realistic, then we will accept a different, simple, pragmatic goal, revenge, with a smile. Damn! They're spitting. That was a sick book. I love that. That was great. Some real, awesome fucking, I don't know, revolutionary writing to be found there. Honestly, like, actually inspiring. Like, genuinely. Let's see. What's the quest that I have for these books, book collecting? Children's Annua, Dwarves Volume 3, 5 Songs, King Wolfarth. Okay. So the only one I have is Children's Annuad. Okay. So anything else is free, fair game. Excuse me. Let's do an accounting of the scrolls. An accounting of the Elder Scrolls by Quintus Neravelis, former Imperial Librarian. After the supposed theft of an Elder Scroll from our Imperial Library, I endeavored to find any sort of index or catalog of the scrolls in our possession so that such situations may be avoided, or at least properly verified, in the future. To my dismay, I discovered that the Moth Priests are notoriously inexact when it comes to the actual physical manifestations of the scrolls, and had no idea how many they held or how many were organized. Merely asking the question evoked chuckles, as if a child was asking why dogs cannot talk. I will confess, my jealousy of the ones who can read the scrolls grows, but I am not yet willing to sacrifice my sight to alleged knowledge. The older Moth Priests I attempt to engage in conversation seem as batty as any other elder who has lost their mind, so I fail to see what the wisdom is imparted from the reading. In any case, I set out to create my own index of the Elder Scrolls, in cooperation with the monks. Day by day, we went through the tower halls, with them telling me the general nature of each Elder Scroll so that I might record its location. Always careful never to glimpse the writings myself, I had only their word to go on. I meticulously drew out a map of the chambers, where scrolls relating to various specific prophecies were located, where particular periods of history were housed. In all, it took nearly a year of plotting, but at least I had rough notes on the entirety of the library to begin my collation. It was here that things began to go amiss. In studying my notes, I found many areas of overlap and outright contradiction. In some cases, different monks would claim the same scroll to be at opposite ends of the tower. I know they have no taste for jesting, or else I would suspect I was being made their fool in some game of theirs. I spoke to one of the older monks to relate my concerns, and he hung his head in sorrow for my wasted time. Did I not tell you, he coughed, when you started this, that all efforts would be futile? The scrolls do not exist in countable form. I had thought you meant there were too many to be counted. There are, but that is not the least of their complexities. Turn to the repository behind you, and tell me how many scrolls are locked therein. I ran my fingers over the metal casings, tallying each rounded edge that they encountered. I turned back. 14, I said. Hand me the 8th one, he said, reaching out his hand. I guided the cylinder into his palm, and he gave a slight nod to acknowledge it. Now, count again. Humoring him, I again passed my hands over the scrolls, but could not believe what I was feeling. Now there are 18, I gasped. The old monk chuckled, his cheeks pushing up his blindfold until it folded over itself, and in fact, he said, there always were. It was then that I enrolled as the oldest novice ever accepted into the cult of the Ancestor Moth. So they multiply. Good to know. It's not telling me how many more books I can put on this shelf. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm assuming it's like, I think it's like 14 is the maximum. But I don't know, this shelf looks smaller than the other one. So, Jenassa, what are you sitting on? You're just sitting in the air like that? Okay. What time is it? 10 a.m. I guess it was the sunrise we were looking at before. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to leave it here for now. I know this was a really short installment. I am sorry about that, but I got so much stuff to do tonight, and I just kind of wanted to get this out of the way quickly, so I had something to show for myself for this week. Next week when we come back, I promise it will be a longer installment. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed listening to me read some books from the Elder Scrolls universe. I know I did. And I will see you in the next one. Till then, peace out.